So it's about time for me to make an updated Code Talker deck profile, and I've been dreading this video, because not a lot's actually changed. In fact, the main deck's gotten slimmer. And going second, the meta is not kind to this deck right now. So instead of focusing on the main deck, I'm going to focus on what I have chosen to combat the current meta. And I'll just leave a card by card in the description of the video. So you have 8 to 10 flex spots that you can fill with either hand traps or board breaking cards. I wouldn't mix and match these two options very much. I'd go either with one or the other. For hand traps, I'd recommend some combination of Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, and Infinite Impermanence, because these cards are all at least somewhat useful in all 3 of your worst matchups going second. Those matchups being Scythelock decks, Fluwander, and Despia. Alternatively, you can play board-breaking cards such as Lightning Storm, Droplets, Triple Tactical Talent, or Chalice. Now the board-breaking cards are a bit more complicated than the hand traps. Usually you'll need to open more than one, but they do have the added benefit of dealing with multiple cards at the same time. So for example, against M-Pen and the Wind Barrier statue, you can use Raigeki, Dark Ruler No More, Droplets, or Lightning Storm in order to out both of those monsters at the same time. However, that's not really the end of it, because your opponent is always going to have a Dream Town alongside those monsters, so you're also going to need Droplet, Chalice, Triple Tactical Talent, Mistaken Arrest, Raigeki, or Dark Ruler No More in order to out the entire board. Now let's talk about the branded matchup. Here the real problem lies in Branded in Red, as Branded in Red ends up creating too many interruptions for the deck to usually deal with. So optimally, you either want to force the activation or prevent it from resolving, while secondarily, you can deal with the monsters that come off of it. Now in terms of Scythelock decks, you have way more answers than you normally would with hand traps. The best answer is always going to be Droplets or Dark Ruler because it gets around any extra negation. However, any of our other board breaking cards that isn't named Triple Tactical Talent also does the job here. Now out of these two strategies, the one that I liked the most was the board breaking strategy, because it did the best against everything besides Flunder. I also felt like it did better against cards like Dimension Shifter and Branded Lost. However, the difference wasn't so noticeable that I would recommend going out and buying Lightning Storms, Droplets, or Triple Tactical Talent just to play this deck at locals. So I did take the courtesy of finding some cheaper secondary options for cards that you can play if you can't afford the more expensive ones in the board breaking build. Anything here with a green checkmark is something that I would recommend as a substituting option for the board breaking build. Anything with a blue checkmark is something that I would only put in a hand trap build. Notice here that the only card that fits both criteria is DD Crow because of the way that it interacts with the other cards in the board breaking build. It's very similar to Chalice. I did also want to point out some newer options in the side deck that I have recently added. The biggest one is Mistaken Arrest. This card is absurd against Flunder. If you activate this card going first, even if your opponent has Dimension Shifter, you are going to win against Flunder. It shuts them off for 2 of your turns and 1 of theirs, being that they often play on your turn. The other side deck card here is Meowsclick. Always side deck this card as long as Mystic Mine is legal. It's basically an auto win card against that matchup. I know this wasn't a normal deck profile, but seeing as I have so many Code Talker deck profiles on my channel, I thought doing something like this would be a little bit more helpful. This deck is absurd at going first, but going second is really where it struggles. And I haven't seen a lot of videos going over how to go second in a deck like this. So I thought doing so would be something that people would find more helpful. If you have any tips that I didn't mention in this video or cards that work really well for going second, leave it in the comment section down below. In fact, once we get Mathmech Circular in the TCG, I plan on trying out a purely going second version of Code Talker. So I definitely appreciate some ideas. Thanks for watching the video. Tell me in the comments section down below what you'd like to see next, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.